Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Around the Halo, Season 2, Episode 15. I am your host, Matt McClure, also known as Bearded McMagic with Little Flower Media. Thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate all of you. It's good to see all of you in chat. It's been a while. It's been a minute. Happy to be here. Just so anybody who is joining us fresh tonight knows, there will not be any Fortnite happening at this particular juncture. It's not like we don't do enough of that on the channel, but tonight is all about Around the Halo, which is a fun little show in which we do sort of hot takes on a bunch of topics that have been predestined to be part of our conversational zeitgeist. That's a sentence that I just said that I will be analyzing even myself moving forward. So here's the deal. We have notifications off for tonight just because we're trying to record the show and put all that stuff together, although we do appreciate all the love and support that you give us with the subs and the bits and the highlighting of messages and the cheers. Occasionally, I will bring up what you say in chat. I just can't help myself, but try to keep it civil in there. As tonight's topics will get a little saucy, and they probably won't, but I will make them that way because I find it to be more entertaining if that's the general vibe that we've got going. So why don't we kick it over and do a quick introduction as we go around the Halo, shall we? My friends, it's great to see everyone. So tonight we have, obviously flipped the script a little bit and replaced Joel. But what we've done is we've replaced him with a whole bunch of people that are clearly better. And I don't want to say that, to Joel's face. And luckily, he's not watching the show right now, so he'll have to deal with it later. We can have a nice little discussion when he's in town next week. So that will be exciting as well. But let's start off going around the Halo as we do per usual with our good buddy, Jonathan Bearded Blevins. How's it going tonight, Jonathan?
I'm doing well. I went on a big walk right before the show because I needed to get some steps, because sometimes I just take like 300 steps if I wake up in the morning and go live and then just work all day.
Yeah, no, I totally get it.
So I took a massive walk, and then I used my GPS because I got lost and realized I was going to almost be late to the show. But here we are. It actually
was really entertaining. I know you got some extra steps in because you and I were having a solid business conversation, and you were like, I am way too far away from home.
Yeah. And I wasn't gonna run.
No, but I mean, I could hear your stride pick up as you were making it back. But
there's a lot of studies that say running's bad now, so I walk.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll bring that up in the next episode, or maybe at the end of this one. Everyone can weigh in on the overall quality of running.
Chenele, Katie, and Bridget and I have pretty much just agreed that we're gonna go really quick on the topics we don't like tonight, so that you can give us random ones later.
Yeah, we can go freeform. That's fine.
Great.
I'll freestyle it for the rest of the evening. And of course, we have Bridget Richardson with Mac Studios UST with us as well. Lead developer and executive producer and chief innovation officer. From my view, I don't know if that's what it says on your business card, but that's how I view you in my heart. How's it going, Bridget?
Pretty good. I'll take those titles, I guess. That's
sweet.
High praise. I appreciate it.
That's okay. I've already edited your Wikipedia page, so it's real now. It's that's how the world works. And
if I have a Wikipedia page, oh my gosh.
I feel the same way. That's dangerously close to serious when you have a Wikipedia page. And new on the show tonight is Chenele Shaw, who hosts a couple of podcasts and is heavily involved with a nonprofit, and I'm going to let her tell you about those things because she's like 3,000% smarter than I am. That's what I learned in our pre-interview. So good luck, Chenele.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. So my name is Chenele. I host two podcasts, Obvious Spotlight, comment, like, subscribe, and Antidepressing. Comment, like, subscribe, smash the
like button. Yep.
And I co-direct a nonprofit called Before It Gets 70 Initiative. I work for the Eucharistic Congress, and besides that, I just hang out with my dog and rewatch Community episodes because and The Office, because I just am afraid of trying new things. Except I have been watching Farmer Needs a Wife, which is amazing. And I'm really excited to be here, and I think this is going to be super fun.
Farmer Needs a Wife came up last episode as well with our good buddy Matt Ricewig from Net Ministries, and I have yet to look it up. I have no idea what anyone's talking about.
He has good taste. Wow. It's
Okay.
a nightmare. The show is a nightmare. I know we have to move
Wait,
on.
Community?
Oh no.
No,
Community
Community's
is
great.
Farmer Needs a Wife is
Farmer
a nightmare.
Needs a
That show
Wife.
is-
Yeah.
yeah, it's horrible. Yep.
Name a better duo than Abed and Troy, though.
It's hard. It's
Abed,
it's
come
it's
on.
it's tough.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And with us tonight as well, rounding out our halo, is Katie Prejean McGrady, radio host and author. What am I leaving off? Mother.
Yeah.
I'm
warning
genius,
you
certified
now.
genius, member of Mensa.
Oh God, no. Don't start that rumor.
No.
please.
Okay. All right. Fine.
No.
What I do is that'll be my fun thing is I'll go onto everyone's
There you go.
personal Wikipedia page and just add
change it.
40 IQ points. Like just
Yeah.
bump it up, whatever.
I think you accumulate IQ points. Like when you beat somebody in a Twitter battle, their IQ points become yours. You just like
What
accumulate
a
them.
great way to do it. It's just
Wouldn't
like
that be a
meow
nice
meow
way to
beans.
measure? Yeah.
Meow,
Oh
meow
yeah, that's a
beans.
great.
Meow,
That
meow,
was a
beans.
great deep cut
Thank you.
callback. Callbacks are the highest form of comedy.
It really is. It really is. Okay, so we're going to get the show started. We have some topics tonight that might be entertaining and, might totally go off the rails, which I think we can all agree is at least 60% of the fun when you think about it. So, as per usual, I will be giving away points as everyone gives us their hot takes on these topics, and the points don't matter at all. They're like that extra pair of shoes that I bring on vacation. I'm not going to wear them. There's no point. There was very little value. I just was trying to be proactive, but
Those belong to the poor.
that's it's good to know.
My hot takes tonight, baby. I can't wait.
That's right. So we're going to start it off, and again, as we go around the halo, we'll just kind of go in the same order with our general topics. And the first one tonight is Eleanor Rigby. On Tuesday, the U.S. Surgeon General released an advisory addressing the epidemic of loneliness and isolation affecting the country, or me in college, depending on how you look at it. This is part of the Biden administration's larger efforts to address mental health in the United States, which was in sharp decline even before the COVID-19 pandemic. The issue is especially prevalent among younger generations. Jonathan, do you think this advisory is a step in the right direction, or is it just paying lip service to a larger problem?
Do I just start now by not caring?
You can. You can not care about anything you want, my friend.
Here's the thing. Yeah, sure. The advisory's fine. Yes. Thank you, government, for letting us know what the whole world already knew. And now there's an advisory. So I don't know what that means. And I even read the articles, and I still don't know what an advisory means. We have been advised. This is like the different. Okay, I want to get canceled tonight.
Next.
Okay, we're aware. We're aware.
Yeah.
What are we going to do now? Now what? It's got to go beyond awareness. What are we going to do? And what is the government going to do? Nothing. We're trillions of dollars in debt. They're not going to be able to help. So here's my solution. All right. We're lonely. We're the most online generation of all time. We spend tons of time in, just staring at screens, binge watching tons of shows more than ever before. It says in the article we read that that it's rich people, it's poor people, it's old people, it's young people, it's married people, it's single people, all feeling lonely more than ever. Well, yeah, it's how we got to spend more time in person, in community. And you know what, dare I say, maybe at church, and maybe churches to start having better events that young people want to go to, that old people want to go to, instead of like Elvis impersonators at senior luncheons. And like, let's hang out and be in community with one another, and like fix the problem. What's the government going to do? I hope that they take some of the money that we don't have and make mental health care more accessible. Absolutely. Do I trust them to do that? No. It's all going downhill. I digress.
That was really well said. I mean, I particularly like the part about it takes some more of the money that we don't have to fix the issue, which I'm sure will come up later. Bridget, these issues run deep and take time. What do you think are some ways that we can combat this as a nation in the near future before it becomes a full-on crisis?
Well, as a nation as a whole, zero. Zilch. Like there's nothing as a nation as a whole I think that is going to solve this problem, period.
Not a lot
I
of
think it
confidence in the
starts-
nation. Got it.
Absolutely not. I think it starts literally with like one person being able to list on their hand like 5 people who will drive them to the airport. If you have 5 people you know and trust who will take you to the airport, then that person needs to call often, be a friend, keep in touch, like, because those are your ride or die, right? Like, if someone's going to take you to the airport at 3 a.m., like, they're your people. And I don't think people in the world could do that. I mean, I was thinking about Uber today. Like, Uber to me is kind of sad. Like, nobody's going to pick you up when you need a hand. like, no one's going to take you where you need to go. Like, we used to have friends and family who would do those annoying things for us because they loved us and cared for us. And we don't have it anymore. We're like, we can't name those people. And so I think like everybody here, just pick 2 people this week that you haven't talked to in a while and give them a call, 10-minute conversation on the way to somewhere, like just touch base. And I think that will go very far in helping this global problem that is like, it's literally like right around us. Like, it's loneliness all around us.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I don't know what this says, but I went to the airport this week and my wife wouldn't take me or pick me up. So I'm a little concerned that perhaps Uber is creating this element of, convenience. That also means we don't have friends. Chenele, there are no quick fixes, but what do you think is the biggest contributing factor to this sort of epidemic of loneliness, if you had to guess?
I work in a lot of technology things, but technology for 100 points. Technology. I literally reclaim the time of my day at the end of the day, which I definitely know is a mental illness, because I'll lay in bed for an hour and just watch like TikToks for an hour until my brain rots.
Mhm.
Like it's social media is so nuts, and the capacity that we all have to intake information is so unhealthy. We should not be taking in so much information all at once. Like, we're not made for it. And I think that it's making people feel so isolated, because I'm scrolling on TikTok and all of a sudden there's like a cat and a horse that are best friends. And then the next scroll is like, we're in a recession. Like, everyone's going to die. Save your grandpa. Except actually don't save him. Like, he's probably not going to make it. And then the next one is like an 80-year-old man that's like playing the guitar by himself because he has no family. And I'm like, it is just so social media for 100 points. That is probably the biggest contributing thing. But here I am, and I'm probably going to log on to Instagram right after this. So
I agree with you. And just as a reminder, after this show ends, we will be chopping it up and posting it on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. So
Absolutely,
check us
yes.
out there
Thank you.
for the follow-up on this episode of Around the Halo. Katie, I think we've really drawn to what probably all of us were headed towards to begin with. How does religion and faith play a role in mental health, and by extension kind of perhaps solving some of these problems?
Yeah, I think people don't have purpose anymore. And whether that was like taken from us because lockdowns kind of kept everybody at home and we all realized I have nothing to do and no one to spend time with, or I think social media has made us incredibly captive to these comparison cycles where I see what they're doing over there, and so I hate what I'm doing a little more, or I think I'm not doing enough. We just don't know why we exist. And faith and religion gives us a why. And you can pretty much endure anything that's hard if you know why you're doing it. And so like when you are lonely for whatever reason, I mean, and sometimes like I was lonely this week because just like a variety of other things just kind of swirling around in my head and felt super isolated. But here's the thing. People that I know and love knew that I was feeling lonely because I said it, because I know, and I have a faith that like asks me to constantly tell God things, and I believe that he cares. And so that also kind of leads me to realize, well, other people might care too. And so I think faith and religion is not just this like happy clappy, I hold on to, oh, Jesus loves me, Jesus likes me, but like also that allows me to maybe love and like myself, which can sort of kind of help solve some of these issues. I don't think it eliminates it though. I mean, I think even the most faithful people can feel lonely sometimes. So I think there's got to come a point where we admit the loneliness, we don't run from it, and then we recognize like we're all actually kind of together in our loneliness. And so then maybe that kind of eases it a little bit, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, it absolutely does, for sure, because there's a vulnerability in being loneliness, and it's a lot easier to log on to TikTok or scroll Instagram for an hour and ignore it, because that's how dopamine works.
I propose that we do a Hands Across America. Why don't we do that again?
We
Everybody
are the
go
world.
outside.
I think we should.
Hold hands.
We should include the Eucharist in that, Chenele, right?
That's actually so crazy because the show is out. No, so.
In the 2nd through the 7th.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We should include the Eucharist, but Coca-Cola owns everyone holding hands across America.
Okay.
They have the whole patent on it. So
Katie's ready.
without paying them
ready.
a
No
serious
ads.
royalty.
I'm sorry.
We need them to pay us first.
Okay.
All
All right, let's move on to our next topic for tonight.
Does it get even better?
It gets even better. The United States could default on its $31.4 trillion debt in the next 30 days. Political parties have hit an impasse over new budget and raising the debt ceiling. A default on the U.S. debt would cause the U.S. credit rating to fall, leading to even higher interest rates and increasing the likelihood of economic recession or even depression. Not the kind of depression we just talked about, but an economic depression, which causes real depression. But I digress. With a high chance of increased unemployment, also depressing. This could have global implications.
Yikes.
Starting with Bridget, how do we end up in trillions of dollars of debt, and how can Dave Ramsey fix this?
How did we end up here is a question for somebody who's way smarter than me in this area.
You're selling yourself short, Bridget. I'm sure you have some ideas.
To my knowledge, we've been in trillions of dollars of debt for a really long time.
For quite some time, yeah.
That's where I'm going to go with that. Dave Ramsey, on the other hand, is amazing. One of the best people probably ever. Why is Jonathan making that face? He's making
If you want to never have fun.
Oh, so Jonathan is clearly a spender. I am a saver. So
yes.
Dave Ramsey suits my personality very well. He has gotten me out of debt, and it was a lovely experience to get out of debt before I got married and had a family, because I really don't know what I do because they cost so much money.
That's true.
And I'm only talking about my kids. Like, my parents live with me too now. So all of us together, it's a lot. But I don't know, man. Like, it's not little things. Like, it's big governmental debt, and then they printed money, and then like it kept getting worse. So I could say student loans, but I feel like that's like a drop in the bucket compared to the debt that we're talking about. So if everybody goes on Dave Ramsey, I think the government should have a Dave Ramsey plan that they're going to adhere to. Really. So
that's probably pretty accurate. Chenele, are regular citizens as concerned about this as they should be, or should they not be concerned at all because it's above their pay grade? They paid their taxes and they're done, and it's for someone else to figure out.
Oh man. Okay, so I'm in the team of let's just all thumbs up and just keep on trucking along. If everybody bought one less Starbucks drink, we would all be out of debt, according to Dave Ramsey. So I just think that whoops. Okay. My phone is going off somewhere, so I'll talk fast. But I just think that it is like so crazy that we're constantly in debt like this. I don't understand it. I pay my taxes. So honestly, I'm just going to keep on going to Chick-fil-A and practicing ignorance, which is true American currency. Print more of that. So that is my response. Yes.
Ignorance, the true American currency. Gosh, that's a great bumper sticker.
That's a great line.
You and I are going in on that one
T-shirts.
together. We're going to sell it. It'll sell more than the pet rock. Katie, with a risk of high unemployment, are there other factors that could also create job loss, like minimum wage being too high or the AI discussion that we're all itching to talk about?
I mean, 4 point whatever that number is. What's the number?
31.4 trillion.
It's not real. Money's not real. Like,
That's
it's
true.
real. Like yes, like I've got, okay, this is real.
Right.
But like also like they printed this and said, here's some value to it. It's like, it's also not real. And so like,
Correct.
I think we're just at a point where Gen Zers are just kind of fed up with it. So they're not entering the workforce. Millennials are like, you're not paying me what I'm worth, so I'm just going to walk off the job. You've got boomers who are like convinced all the millennials are super lazy, as opposed to like, no, like I can't afford a house. And part of that is because like I refuse, people are not paying me what I know my value is. Gen X, who knows what they're doing? They're there and we know that they're there, but like, do they matter? I don't know.
Well,
I've
they're
just
in that
offended-
spot right now where because of their age, they have no actual role. They just keep their head down and do their job because no one
Right.
cares.
Right. They just
So
do their job.
They're not at the top and they're not at the bottom. So it's like,
And they're-
just shut up and
probably-
go to work.
Yeah, and like they're probably being paid a little more than like what they maybe should be paid because the millennials are being underpaid. So yeah, like the risk of high unemployment, but it's also like a risk of people don't find dignity in their work anymore. It's a risk of people don't want to put forth effort if they feel undervalued. I work for a company that has unlimited PTO. And that's pretty cool because it actually ends up being like people are like, oh, if I need to take the day off, like I'm respected enough to know that I need the day off. And like I'm not going to get yelled at. I don't have to accrue those kinds of days. Like I'm considered to be an autonomous individual. What ends up actually happening is that people take less time off. So maybe it actually works to the benefit of the company. And you can't like accrue days when you actually end up leaving and they can't like buy them out or whatever. But I feel like I'm an individual who's valued, and I don't think that exists in the marketplace anymore, which is why people aren't going to get jobs, which is contributing to the fact that there's more people in unemployment and contributing to the debt. And let's wipe out student loan debt because those numbers aren't real and money doesn't matter. And like it's all made up, and the
That
points
part.
don't matter. Yeah.
I like your take on this. This is a good one.
Thanks.
And
My mom's a CPA for the record, and I do have money in the bank. Like I care about finances. I want to retire someday, but it's just all a joke. Is all of it a joke? I think so.
Is there any chance that you'd be willing to moonlight as an economics professor in some capacity? I think that there's a large group of people that would either be very interested in you teaching or perhaps read your blog.
Oh, a blog. That's a throwback.
I know.
I'll stick to radio.
You'll stick to radio? Okay. All right, that's
I'll
fair.
move there.
Jonathan, do you think this is something we should avoid, or is it a necessary reset to our already fragile economic system?
Yeah, there's not. We're screwed. We're screwed.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do. Listen, like I hear everything that every one of our amazing guests is saying, and I agree. But at the same time, like the global economy is going to collapse, and when that happens, it is not going to be good. Like, so yes, money's fake, but like eventually it's going to have to. And that's crazy. Like think about this. If the government was a person, they would have been killed by millions of people already. Millions of people. And they would be in their own jail. Like this is great. If there are 331 million people in America, do you know how much money? Like it's $31 trillion. I can't even wrap my head around it. Even what I'm about to say doesn't help me wrap my head around it. 331 million Americans. It would cost all of us $94,000 each to pay that off. So I'm like, oh, there's a lot of people in America. Maybe if everyone just gave $100, we'd be okay.
Will they
No,
accept
it's
Dunkin'
insane.
coupons? Because that's all I have access to at this
This is-
particular time.
Bed Bath
This
and
is
Beyond
bad.
coupons.
Yeah.
It's bad.
How
And
about
here's the thing.
bartering? Can we barter?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we owe all the money to other governments too. That's the thing. Like
can't
rich
barter.
people and other governments. And so we're just in so much trouble. And I don't know what to do. Obama, Trump, and Biden, all three, Biden actually the least amount between the other two, have added like 60 and 80% to the debt. It's so much money. So I don't know what we're gonna do.
but we still exist because it's not real. Like China's not knocking on the door tomorrow and saying, please pay. Because like they
Hopefully
know
not.
we wouldn't pay. And all of it is just so we're betting that nobody's gonna come ask for it due. So we just can keep raising the numbers.
Call me doom and gloom, but I think we're gonna see like a crazy economic crash in our lifetime.
Oh, for sure. 2008 is coming again, and it's going to include housing and tech and education.
Yeah. And so what we need to be doing is buying Gen Z's Pokemon NFTs, 100%. Mic drop.
Gen
'Cause
Z's,
that's gonna be the new
Gen Z's
currency.
Pokemon NFTs. That's what is going to get everyone through any sort of financial crisis. Yeah. Yep.
Dogecoin.
No, lots of good points there by everybody. You know, it's actually kind of interesting because as I was reading these articles, it led to some other things. And not that I'm advocating this, but one of the things that led to workers getting fair wages in the past, as they were sort of developing labor law, is that when stuff got imbalanced and owners started to, sort of flaunt their money, they were dragged into the streets and beaten. And I'm not saying that that's the direction we should go, but there needs to be some kind of risk, right? If there's just going to constantly be this imbalance. Let's move on to topic number 3, the new voter. Pope Francis announced significant changes to voting in the upcoming Synod of Bishops in October, where 70 non-bishops will be appointed by the Pope and given voting rights at the Assembly. This group will be drawn from priests, consecrated women, deacons, and faithful Catholics who are not ordained. Half will be women, with young people also represented. This assembly is an important advisory group to the Pope. Oh, an advisory group, just like what the government did on mental health. The decision is likely to draw criticism from both those who feel it goes too far and those who believe it doesn't go far enough. Starting with Chenele, how is this significant in the life of the church right now?
Well, shout out to all my single ladies and brothers and sisters and priests. So this is great. This is going to be really awesome. I mean, when that text comes out after the synod, which I had to Google when a synod even was, because I know there was like a synod on synodality, and there's so many words. The church is great for that. So like, I think this is great. I think it's important to have different perspectives when, because synods are consultations, so it's great to have those consultations of perspectives when you're gathering people together to talk about some like papal exhortation, which is a lot of big words, but I think this is great. I'm here for ladies. I'm rooting for everybody who wants to get a word in so we can truly like reflect the universality of the church. I think it's a great thing. And I think it's going to be great for all of us, so good news all around. This is the happiest story, it seems, of this evening. So I'm going to be positive on this one. This is really good news. Pope Francis, he wasn't misquoted on this one, which was good news. And we're just like, we're all rocking and rolling. This is good.
Yeah, I agree. This is a solid one. We will probably have to drop in some more positive conversational topics when we finish these up. Katie, does this represent a positive move for how the church listens and responds to the laity?
So I'm going to be the negative Nelly in the room for just a moment. And
okay, you can.
Not only because I have seen these things up close. I was a participant in the Synod on Youth and Young Adults. In the pre-synod gathering, there were 300 young adults flown out to Rome for a week. And we hot take machine here for a second. We walked into the room thinking, oh, they want to listen to us. And about 48 hours in, we realized, oh, they just wanted us to say what they wanted us to say. And like, I deeply believe that we were still able to kind of push through. We called ourselves Team Steamroll because we were like, no, we didn't come out here for a week to just be told, hey, this is what the Pope wants you to say. Like, we came to tell you what we think, but we had to fight. And I walked away from that never thinking that I ever wanted to go back into some of those bureaucratic spaces again, because it just kind of felt like some lip service had been paid. Oh, we brought you young people to the table. Look at how inclusive we are. And I defended it and I represented it and I talked about it. And now, like, a few years later, I kind of realized, like, I think I pushed for it so much because it looked really good on my CV and my resume, and I was really proud and excited to be asked. And now here I am 5 years later, and like, do you know the document that was written from the Synod on Youth and Young Adult Ministry? Can you name it?
Christus Vivit.
Christus Vivit. Okay. So like the people in this room would know that. But like, if I were to go ask my mom, who's a daily mass going Catholic, she couldn't tell you. I would also ask her right now, what is the Synod on Synodality? And she'd be like, what? Just like if I were to ask her, like, hey, what's our parish mission speaker talking about in a couple of weeks? She would know, because these things happen in committee. Lip service is paid. Oh, we're bringing more people to the table. But then pew sitting Catholics who are participatory and showing up and tithing and trying to love Jesus don't ever end up hearing about it, because like, as good as it might be in the offices where it's happening, it trickles down so slowly to those of us just trying to live the faith every single day, that while I'm happy there will be women who get to vote and happy that more people's voices are coming to the table, I also just kind of think to myself, maybe the peasants who didn't always know what was going on in the Vatican were right, that they could just live their faith and go to mass and love Jesus and like didn't need another document that we just get to say, hey, more people contributed to this one. Is it a move forward? Yes. Do I care? Not all that much. All right, moving on. I've just gotten myself disinvited from ever participating in a synod again. But just because I don't know.
What'll be excellent is to find out that they are aware of our operation here on Around the Halo. Yes. And that is the reason that you're disinvited, would also sort of be
that right there.
That would be
that would be huge for your CV.
That would be great for our CV.
Uninvited from participating. Bad Catholic
it's
woman.
A totally different level of success. Failing upwards. Jonathan, how could this be replicated or emulated in local dioceses, or do you feel that this is already happening?
So here's what you just did. You asked me a question about the Pope and the organizational structure of the church trying to get things done.
That's true.
And then you asked me, What about diocese? Dude, they could not.
I see
they
what I
couldn't-
did there. I see.
They could not plan a backyard football game. Okay, this is it's crazy. By the time that the Catholic Church does anything, mega churches have been planted, millions have been evangelized, the pastors have gone to jail, their wives have gotten rich, and people move on. Like it's crazy. Like seriously, someone could say, Pope Francis, we should have a backyard barbecue in Rome, and he'd be like, yes, let us have a synod and make sure that everyone is invited, but not everyone, because it's not enough room, but like a representation of everyone, and then we'll think about doing it, and then we'll have another synod, and then we'll plan it, and then after that synod, we'll start talking to diocese, and maybe then they can start planning. And it's just like, dude, you could have just had it tomorrow. We could have just said, hey, tomorrow barbecue outside. This is, I do agree with what Chenele said. Like this, there are very good things about this. I think that's great. Of course, women should have a say in a lot of what is happening in the church, and of course, the priests, consecrated deacons, all the good stuff. Okay, great. But I'm also a Katie. Like, what's it going to do? What is it going to do? In my life, here's the thing. I read this topic, and I got this weird feeling deep down in my heart, which is part of the reason why I left working full time in the church, of like despair and anger. And I've realized that over the last year and a half, while running our own company and doing our own thing and working for myself, I have not paid attention to any of these church things. And I've just been praying with my family and receiving the sacraments and going to mass. And it is so freeing. It is just unbelievably freeing. And so I refuse to care ever again about any type of major thing happening in the church, because it just will not affect my daily life. I know that sounds so doom and gloom. This is the most doom and gloom I've ever been today.
No, I think what you're saying has actual tremendous value in the idea that like there's a fundamental like core structure that already exists that is serving you and your family, right, within the church, and that like some of the changes that the church makes are not necessarily on the time that you want to see them, but they're also not taking anything away from what you already view to be like a successful, like executing your faith successfully with your family, which is actually kind of positive, right? That like there's nothing on this list, or there's not a synod that's like, well, this is going to ruin the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to talk about it, then we're going to talk about it again, and it's going to move slower than molasses in winter. That's something my grandmother used to say. And that like that, that's just kind of the way that it goes. But the reality is, I mean, I think generally positive, that like, wow, like, okay, that all of these things can happen, and how it affects me? Almost not at all. Like that.
Yeah. I hope that I'm wrong, and that they do listen, and that the Pope, like, think about just what happened in America with Pope Francis and what he did with Latin Mass, right? And up to the cardinals and whatever. Just so like whoever was advising him was just advising him incorrectly, right? Like there's a lot of bad things on either side of the church politics that you're on happening, and he was wrong about a lot of it. So like who's advising him? So hopefully that whoever's advising him now in these synods, that he like listens and then like makes the right decisions. Also, he doesn't care about America.
Nor should he.
Nor should he.
That's a hot take. That's a hot take.
Nor should he. Yeah.
I agree. He should not.
The people who are, this is like my other cynical context is the people who get asked are going to jockey for being asked. Like the politicizing of it, and the send me, and this is coming from someone who was sent 5 years ago and like didn't really know why, and it was just kind of like, oh, thanks for asking, I appreciate the opportunity to go. But like there's already people jockeying in the halls of control of the church to try to go. The people who should get to go, the women who should get to vote, are like the 85-year-old nanas who go to daily mass and nobody knows their name, but they're there every single day with their rosary beads, and they're like praying the church to heaven. And those voices are not going to be represented, and that's, I think, maybe where my cynicism is coming from.
Yeah. No, I totally hear you and agree.
I want to hear what Bridget says.
I want to hear what Bridget says too. And Bridget, if you want to drop in both your take on the value of this, but also if you have any other synods that you would like to propose that could potentially be more important than this one, I'm open to that as well.
Oh man, that is a wonderful question. Oh gosh, that just opens up a whole new world. There's so many things that are so important in this. Well, for me, it's environment. Like I'm all about the environment. Like I want the world to stay beautiful. And he already did the thing about the Amazon. And when I read that, I mean, I'm sure that didn't get read very widely, but it was beautiful. Like the Aboriginal peoples that live in the Amazon and how their land is getting taken from them. Sidebar though, the church has been colonizing people for a long time. So that's neither here nor there. But in this instance, I am like a huge proponent for both and. Like even in Katie's story, I was like, yes, Katie, that is why you got chosen, because you were there, you ruffled some feathers, you were like, no, I am here, I am not leaving until you listen, so listen to me. And if anybody else would have been there, they would have been like, okay, yes, like this is what we're supposed to say, we're going to represent, this is what it means to represent the church. Like they need people like you who are like, oh no, you can't tell me what I'm going to say. I'm going to go and tell you what people actually think. Because if you're not there, then it's going to be all the other people who are just clout chasing in the Catholic Church, which is like the saddest thing ever. But that's what it is. Like we talk about all this social media people, like Catholic world is like so weird for that too. And I really, really just don't get it. But if it's people like Katie or the other people who are on her crew who made them listen, like that's what it's about. And the fact that you see the Nana in the pew who's praying and you see her and you know that she is the one that keeps the church alive, like for you to know that and to go and be on a group of like this synod thing that you did with young adults, that's huge. And so I hope that this opens up I guess the quorum, is that the right word? Chat will call me out if it's not, but I hope this opens up like this whole new world of people who see both of those things. Like, of course, there's going to be like the snake in the grass who's just like, has a motive for whatever, like people are so strange, but I hope they really do come in, bring their worldviews, because I think what the Pope is just saying is like, hey, we want to see different viewpoints, which we have never like openly said, like, yes, we welcome that. And now we're saying, yeah, like, let's bring everybody to the table, like the synod on synodality, like nobody really knows what it is. But at the end of the day, he was just saying like, I want to know what like people think in the pews. I want to know what like somebody who doesn't care about the church at all, like, why not? Like, I think even just saying that means something. And the fact that I know that, and the fact that I have a friend who I talked to the Pope about, who she just literally came out, got a divorce, like her life is being turned upside down. And I could talk about the stuff that I know that the Pope is like talking about. Like you're the connecting piece. So you have to have both feet in both worlds, or else it's like, it doesn't make sense. Like the world's kind of like this whole like Catholic thing, I think falls apart if there are people who can't do both.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think that's fair. It's sort of unfortunate that it feels like you have to amass a certain amount of power in order to be listened to, and that like there's probably a struggle for a lot of people going on. Like, I'm trying to gain enough to have influence so that we can make change, but the way that you do that is sort of going through these super common channels, like trying to get invited to things and that kind of stuff.
Or this is what I always say in these moments: trust the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit will always call who should be in those rooms. Like whether it's like someone who just, it's like, yeah, like they're disgusting. Like maybe they need to be pit up against somebody who's like a real hardcore like warrior for wanting to advocate for like the good of other people. We just never know how the Holy Spirit works. So I think if we just trust in that, the people who should be there will be there.
Yes, that's
and hopefully
true.
It's a Nana.
Yes, as speaking as the person who serves the role of being around to make other people look better, then I totally agree with you. That is what my dad told me my job would be. Let's move on to our next topic for hi. Welcome to the show. Up in smoke. Vaping will be essentially banned in Australia after tough new restrictions on e-cigarettes. Many countries are contemplating similar bans after seeing increased smoking among young people. It is unknown if the United States will follow suit. Starting with Katie on this one, if you're ready.
Sorry, guys.
You want us to skip you and come back later? We can come back later.
I know I have something to say. I wanted to answer the first question.
All right, well,
Hey,
vaping,
lady,
here
I
it
love
is. This, among many other events, has renewed calls for gun control or gun restriction in this same vein of, conversational topic. Would stricter laws prevent kids from, having issues with vaping?
Yeah, I think we can control things and kids are going to find a way. right? This is part and parcel, like the way they're like banning social media for people under a certain age in some of the states. And it's like, yeah, kids are smart. They've had phones in their hands since before we did. Like they know how to get around it. So I think you can ban something and people are still going to find a black market for it. That doesn't mean that it's dumb to make some sort of a restriction, because I think a rising tide raises the ships. So if the government, and not that, I'm pro big government, but like if there is kind of a declaration of we believe and know that this is wrong and unsafe and unhealthy, then like people might pay attention to the fact that that's true. I don't know that it would prevent all of the incidents, but I do think it would help maybe keep some people safe. And vaping is disgusting. It like causes your lungs to like mold. Smoking is bad, right? Like smoking is bad, and vaping is just like an expression of smoking. And I'm just gonna go get rid of these children very quickly, and then I'll come right back to the conversation. Okay. All right. Hey girls, where is
Jonathan, what do you think about this? I mean, is it okay for government to step in when something is clearly labeled as like cotton candy unicorn fun time as a flavor? I mean, doesn't that seem like there's a very specific demographic involved that they should not be flirting with?
Yeah, 100%. It is very clear that a lot of the vaping stuff is geared towards getting young people addicted to it. And that's a problem. And there's lots of other stuff out there that the government should probably do more about. However, so yeah, vaping, yeah, yes. And they need to stop targeting young people, especially. And I'm fine with whatever they decide to do. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the deal. I need people to hear what I'm about to say. Vaping is the dumbest thing of all time, and you shouldn't just not do it. I don't care about your health. I don't care about your health. Don't do it because it's bad for you. Don't stop vaping because you look like an absolute idiot. Okay? Like you're not, it's not cool. I remember when my girlfriend broke up with me and I was 17 and I was like, I'm going to have a cigarette in my truck and drive by track practice and look cool. And she's going to be like, oh, he's smoking. Oh my gosh. And I like, it's so dumb. I looked like an idiot. And you see these people at red lights. I did. Yeah. Like not a lot, but just like here and there, like, I was like, oh, and I realized pretty quickly that it is not cool. And these vaping is like the worst. There's these bros mostly that I see at the bar just sitting there and they're just like, yeah, I can smoke this because it doesn't smell that bad. It's Fruity Pebbles. And they take a huge inhale and they're like, yeah, look at this cloud of smoke. I'm like in the clouds, man. Like, you look dumb.
I'm a man.
Yeah, it's so wild. You see the red lights and they're there in their big truck or their tiny little like 1987 Mustang that daddy bought. And they're just like, yeah. And then they're just like the whole cloud. It's a whole cloud. And they're like, people are going to think this is weed.
Niche.
No, it's dumb. You look dumb.
Smoking on a USB stick.
Yes.
Yes, what it looks like.
It is so dumb. So please, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to smoke a cigar, smoke a pipe, be classy.
Stay classy,
Vibes.
San Diego.
Vibes.
I like it. Bridget, what do you think here? Is this just sort of like the next step in cutting off something before it, blows up and becomes something that's totally out of control? You think it's reasonable for it to be banned on this level?
I mean, this is the one where I'm like, I don't care. It's so hard for me to even have a take on this just because, like, I just, like, this is, like, beyond not caring. I have no good take on this because even if we make it illegal, if people can go to jail or, like, have a felony for vaping, like, that's really sad. Like, I don't want anybody to go to jail over this if those are the stakes we're talking about, because that's absurd. If you get a fine, okay, I guess that's better. But yeah, vaping is, I think it's dumb as well. I don't see very many people vape, but I don't get out much either. So maybe that's why it's just not relevant for my life. But and when I was younger and I used to love to go to concerts and they would all be like, I listen to all these small like kind of punk pop bands, and so it'd all be in these like little clubs and people like smoke cigarettes then. And so the idea of vaping is sort of like a misnomer because you see it and you don't smell it, and so you can't, like, I don't know, it messes with your brain a little bit. I don't like that. So I don't like that piece of it. Just be what you are or don't be it at all.
Yeah, I see your point. I'm going to throw a curveball at you and say, what about the specific like elements of it clearly marketing to children? Like Is it okay for us to have a bluey crack pipe and just be like, well, I mean, you just gotta make your decision. You
Sign
know,
me up.
It's
The only way I'll do
fine.
drugs.
Listen, this
Like a
wasn't
bong with Bandit.
covered in my drug abuse resistance education program, so I don't know what to do. Like,
you a DARE
absolutely
graduate?
not.
Oh,
but
yeah.
but okay, if that were the case, then why are the bluey people making a partnership with the vaping people? Like that's what it comes down to. Why is Disney, if it's like a Disney thing or whatever, I don't know who's doing whatever, but why are they making a partnership with the vaping company?
Oh, so
You know, like-
fun fact, Bridget, they're not, right? Like the people, there's no copyright as long as they're not using the same ingredients. So like there's energy drinks that taste like Skittles that use the Skittles like similar logo, but it's different enough and it tastes like Skittles, and they're clearly marketing towards kids, and Skittles has nothing to do with it. Continue.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Where is the law?
See,
Big government
she went
now.
full circle. The law is in Australia where it's banned everything that this represents.
But there's a lot of stuff banned in Australia. Like they're
That's
just,
true.
they're
That's how
bigger-
Australia handles things. They go
They're
like,
bigger
this seems
government.
like a problem.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of it
let's
entirely.
just get rid of it entirely.
Yeah.
And they're a godless society of
They just
Texans.
recently got to go outside.
Yeah.
They're European Texans. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and they have cool accents, so I think that's pretty awesome. Chenele, what do you think? Is it okay for us to ban something just because it's stupid, like John wants to? In which case, the Kardashians are in trouble.
TikTok, Twitter.
That was such a yeah, I mean, I definitely agree that there could be other things that are banned before I think of vapes. This is like a super hot take, but I mean, just if we're really talking about like gun reform, if we want to say guns up on here, it's like there was one massive, huge, horrible event that happened in like the early 2000s in America, and everyone was horrified, and it was horrible. And now I can't walk through the airport with my knife. I can't walk through the airport with my hairspray. I can't walk. And it's like, and it took us 2 minutes to negotiate those things because people were like, that's insane. And we never want that to happen again. But there are things that happen to children and vulnerable people all over the country all the time. And people are pocketing money and they really don't care because the government does not care most of the time. And it's just like crazy to think that we're having conversations about banning vapes, because it's like, I live in Florida. It's vape city over here. Half of the people out here smell like Marlboros. So it's like, it's like disgusting. So I totally get it. I hate walking through the cool smoke clouds. And it's just like, I think on the list of priorities, if we're really like banning things and talking about negotiations of things that we should be taking away from people, why don't we talk about things that we're turning on the news every day and parents and old people are terrified to go outside and go to the grocery store? And like, I think that should be first priority. But yet again, we're being put, things are being put into our brains where we're just like, things are constant distractions. So they're like, look, vapes are bad and you're probably going to die from that smoke. And then they're like, but don't worry about that because the Met Gala is tomorrow. But don't worry about that because like Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. That's also cool. It's like, what the hell?
But don't worry about that because we're defaulting on our debt.
Don't worry about that. Yeah. And then like President Biden, like JoJo Beans is like, hey, I might just cancel student debt. But he's like, actually, JK, LOL, I'm actually not going to. What do you guys want to do? And we're like, I don't know, dude. What do you want to do? It's
We
your
voted
job.
for you. Yeah.
So it's like, honestly, at the end of the day, am I being negative? Sure. Does the government care? Probably not. Are we all trying our best? Yes. It's just, but I think it's like, if you want to smoke a USB, then, that's on you. If the commercials when we were younger of the women with the holes in their necks talking through those microphones didn't scare the shiz out of you, or the people on the couch like that were melted into puddles because they were smoking weed, like if that didn't scare you to not do drugs, then I don't know, maybe you're just a lost cause. That is a hot take. That's negative. So but yeah, so I don't know.
There you go.
That whole take was such a W.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good clip. All right, let's finish off with our final topic since you brought it up, the Met Gala. Never met a gala I didn't like. The annual spectacle of fashion and weirdness, the Met Gala, was held on Monday with attendees paying tribute to Karl Lagerfeld and his pet cat. Attire ranged from standard red carpet wardrobes to bizarre cat outfits. every year the Met Gala brings celebrities together and makes a splash on social media. This year being no different, unfortunately. Let's start back here with Jonathan at the beginning. Do you understand the fashion? And is the Met Gala fashion or a show or neither? Why is it important at all?
It is not important.
Good call. 10,000 points.
It is not important. And I'm dead serious when I say this. If I got invited for some weird reason, and it could be like this really cool thing that could really help what we're trying to do and increase viewership in the brand and help more people experience positive community, I'd still say no. I wouldn't go because it's the lamest thing on the planet. It's like this weird exclusive party that nobody cares about, yet it somehow trends on Twitter because of just like the one group of people who love fashion. I think the whole thing is a sham. Dressed up as a cat? How is a pet cat being paid tribute to? I don't care about your cat. If I had a cat, I wouldn't care about my cat. This has been the most weird. Like, I don't care. I just don't care. Yeah, I don't care. It doesn't make any sense. And it's just, I'm beginning not to like rich people who go to these things. You know what I mean?
Eat the rich.
Like
Eat
there are some rich people who I think are doing really amazing things and changing the world. And I think we need them to do that. But the ones who aren't, you are just waste. Like, go vape.
Go vape. Or go pay off the debt.
And what is fashion? I digress. I wear true classic tees. Who's next?
Nice.
Branded content.
I like this one. You know what's weird is that Jonathan is having this moment where I think that part of it can be explained by aging. And what he's doing is he's reflecting the way that I feel all the time, which is really interesting as we get into it. I don't care about that or most of those things. So Bridget, is this art and inherently controversial by design? Like, is the whole point that it's like, look at me and this is weird and it's going to be a conversational topic? Yes, that's correct answer also. Good for you. Nice job.
I'll take a super theatery take. Like, go for it. I mean, if it's like a fashion event that's wearable art and, it's like, it's to dazzle and shock, and like Jared Leto was hilarious. The other one that looked like a cat was really scary.
Doja Cat.
Oh, Doja Cat. Yeah.
That was really
came as herself.
But
Doja Cat, you know who she is.
But whether or not you've seen like McCavity is, like the Cats, the musical, they look like cats.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a musical. It's been around for a long time. Same thing. Like, I think the arts are sort of merging in the Met Gala, and again, like, people care and don't care about theater all at the same time. I think maybe it's the same with fashion. I'm not like a super fashiony person. Darnell would have been better at this take because he loves fashion. But I didn't watch the Met Gala. I don't plan to. But I did look at all the pictures, and the guy who was, I think it was Lil Nas, was he the silver one? He was all silver.
Yeah, he was wearing like a silver bodysuit.
Like, it's pretty incredible. How long did that take? Like, I asked these questions, like, how long did that take? What was the person who designed this thinking? What kind of room setup did you have to put on these things? Like, I have so many questions. So I'd want to see a behind the scenes of the Met Gala, maybe not the Met Gala.
It's interesting. Yeah, that's a good one. I'm going to challenge you on the idea that cats being part of theater was somehow normal. That was always the weird one. And even people who love theater are like, okay, this is a little bit weird. Like,
the music is fantastic.
I'm not saying that the music wasn't fantastic. Great. I'm saying that the cats body painted and staring deeply into the audience is a little bit off-putting.
Maybe that was the start. The world is in a very weird place right now. Maybe we can
maybe that was the start. Maybe we should all just revisit Cats.
James Corden in the Cats movie was the start. Like
that movie was a work of art.
That was the beginning of the end.
James Corden must be known where people hide bodies, because why that guy is in everything, I don't know. He needs to take a rest.
Well, his show just ended.
He's retiring.
Thank God. God is real.
Which is a good thing. Chenele, would you want people to one day honor you by also honoring your pets in some type of formal event?
I would absolutely love that. I have a dog. His name is Cooper. His name is Cooper. I know that I'll get my rewards and treasures in heaven, but who cares? I want him now. So I will have a dog. His name is Cooper. I would love for people to honor him because he's 12 and he's everything good in this world. So like for sure, I want people to dress up like him. Also, as a note, I do think that the Met Gala is like the capital in the Hunger Games, and we're all district people, and this is all just a show, and they're all there. And I sound like a conspiracy theorist, but they're all there, and we can't even get gas. Eggs are like $40, and I'm watching Kim Kardashian wear like a semi-nude bodysuit with pearls. Like, who the heck cares? It's crazy. So yes, I do want Cooper to be honored, and I want to be honored every day. If they had a gala in my honor, it would just be filled with donuts, ice cream, and my dog. So for sure. But like, I also think the Met Gala is so dumb. And but every year I'm trapped and I watch it. Just like every year I watch the Oscars, and I don't know why I could give a crap, but here I am. And I am one of those people. I say that it's dumb, but I watch the entire thing. So, yep.
Which leads us into Katie's question. In reality, we want all this stuff to change, and we're saying that it's dumb, so we're part of the problem, right?
Oh, for
By
sure.
consuming the content and talking about it, at least one person from tonight's show is going to Google the images that they have not yet seen because we're discussing it, and so it's going to get an additional hit on, their metrics are going up with everybody that's like, we just got to pick different topics. I think that's the bottom line. Like,
they know that we don't care, and they still do it anyway. That's celebrity culture. I have a friend who's like super into fashion, and every year at the Met Gala, her whole Instagram stories are like analyzing everybody's outfit as if it's like a subtle commentary upon like politics and relationships. And it's more fun watching Claire talk about the Met Gala than actually watching the Met Gala. But what I was most struck by is, one, Ocean's 8 is an American treasure of a film, and it's set at the Met Gala. So as long as like Ocean's 8 can exist, I'm fine with the Met Gala existing, because I freaking love that movie and watch it every chance I get. Love a good heist film with Sandra Bullock as the lead. I mean, come on. But this year, what I was most fascinated by was like the commentary around. So like the Costume Institute is what they're you have to pay to go, and like it's a big fundraiser for the Costume Institute. So this museum exhibition that's supposed to like continue arts and this legacy, but there's always this theme, and this year's theme wasn't a theme, it was a person, and it was actually a really incredibly problematic person. Like Karl Lagerfeld, or whatever his name is, was the director of Chanel. Chanel, by the way, Coco Chanel was a Nazi. We always forget about that. Second of all, like he was incredibly problematic. He was like way anti-woman. He like fat shamed people. He hated homosexual people and would often talk about how like they didn't deserve rights. He was anti-immigration. Like this guy was incredibly problematic. And so like a lot of celebrities protested and did not go to the Met Gala this year because they didn't want to honor this guy. And like I respected that. Like I don't respect celebrities often, but I respected that because they were kind of taking a little hit to their status by saying, well, sometimes we just have to go and play nice. You just kind of turn a blind eye to the problems. Like there were a lot of them that spoke up and said, no, this isn't cool, and I'm not going to participate this year. I think we also all as Catholics have to acknowledge, we remember the Met Gala of a few years ago where everybody was like, not my culture that you're appropriating. And that was some of the most beautiful fashion I've ever seen. And I was like, yes, absolutely. Chadwick Boseman as the Pope is what needs to happen. And like, come on, like, let's put him in these beautiful outfits all the time. May he rest in power. But like, the thing is, it's a blip on the radar. We're talking about it today. None of us will be thinking about it in a week. And they know that because we are human beings who are completely and totally captivated for 24 hours. And then we move on to the next thing that feeds us the junk. So we are part of the problem. Karl Lagerfeld should have never been honored. But if they make an Ocean's 9 at the Met Gala, I'm watching it.
That was the best butt.
Well done.
And it better have Sandy B at the front. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, headliner for sure.
For sure.
Okay, well, this was incredibly fun, even though none of the topics were designed to be so. And I think that's just a testament to putting together this group, this panel, to make this as entertaining as it is, when a lot of these were pretty heavy. I appreciate everyone and all of your hot takes. Chenele taking the victory tonight. Exactly. You're with your.
I might not have a boyfriend, but I won whatever this is. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, there it is. And speaking
Follow
of
me on
which,
Instagram.
you now have 30 seconds to discuss or self-promote or talk about anything
Ugh.
that you feel passionate about. And if you wanted to use this 30 seconds to sort of like throw out a dating profile, like that's
Okay.
your call, if that's what you choose to do. And your 30 seconds starts right now.
I'm 29. I believe that I'm pretty fertile. I still live with my parents, but I think I'm going to buy a house soon. I'm really responsible. I have a really good full-time job. I work from home. Shrek is the best movie ever made. Also Twilight. I don't care what anybody says. It has a great story. We all just need to abandon letting our kid have choices at restaurants. Just choose the food for them. It takes like 20 minutes and it's so dumb. And everyone at the restaurant is frustrated with you. And I know you want to be a gentle parent, but it's really stupid and you should let them choose.
There you go. Wow. Possibly the best use of 30 seconds, not just on this
Amazing.
show, but in the history of all media. I mean, that might be a 30 seconds that is unrivaled unless you were to show a 30-second clip of Shrek, in which case...
Date her.
Maybe.
I probably have
Maybe.
her out.
Date me. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on LinkedIn. I just updated it. I,
The professional
me on LinkedIn.
I don't even know what LinkedIn is. but
Date
I
me on
updated it
LinkedIn.
because-
New message.
I updated it because of peer pressure. So follow me on it.
Nice.
Do you want your CV? Right?
Amazing. Yeah.
Jeremy just said Chenele just won next week's episode.
Yeah. That was unbelievable. All right, everybody. We're going to call that a show here from all of us at Little Flower Media and around the Halo. This was a blast. I really appreciate it. Bridget, this is going to be a fun one to cut up for sure. Jonathan, when are you live next?
In 2 minutes, I'll be doing Fortnite games with the Midnight Energy co-owners, and then live again tomorrow, 6 a.m. to 1 p.m., and then Family Fortnite Friday, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Friday.
Sweet. Amazing. Good stuff. All right, everybody. Katie and Bridget and Chenele, we certainly appreciate you. I hope that you're willing to come back, and we promise that only 3 of the 5 topics will be as depressing as they were tonight in the future. So no problem.
Let's go like tacos pizza next time. Like who wins?
Yeah.
Hot
NFL
dogs,
draft.
burgers. Yeah.
NBA playoffs.
Ooh,
Pick one.
playoffs, Warriors.
Tonight's topic, what's your favorite food, and would you stuff it with your second favorite food? Okay, so yeah, no, it'll be great. We'll mix it up a little bit. So everybody who is in the channel right now, we thank you very much, and for keeping all the conversation in chat relaxed and groovy. That was very nice of everyone. DJ, thanks for the raid. We're actually about to shut down the stream, but John is going to immediately go live again. So stick around. Maybe we can do it fast enough where you won't even have any hiccup at all. And Ash, we'll talk later about adjusting the wall art because I don't know 100% what you're referring to, but I think my camera's just crooked. Anyway, we love you. God loves you more. Let's change the world. Have a good night, everybody, and stick around for John.